Hello and welcome to another video from Midas Touch Toys, Games, Collectibles. And today, well, we're looking at something that's now quite old, very collectible, and are becoming increasingly more difficult to find, especially in this mint unopened condition. Now we are looking at the 2004 release by Vivid Imaginations from their Gerry Andersons Thunderbirds series of Soundtech vehicles. And this particular set we're looking at today features Thunderbird 1 and FAB 1 as they appeared in the television series. Now we all know Thunderbirds is a British science fiction television program. It was created by Gerry and Sylvia Anderson, and it was filmed by their production company AP Films, and it was distributed by ITC Entertainment. It was filmed between 1964 and 1966 using the form of electronic marionette puppetry, which the Andersons called or dubbed super marionation, and it was combined with scale models and special effect sequences. There was two series totaling 32 50-minute episodes which were made and produced, but the series ended with the 6th episode of the second series after Lou Grade's APF, who was AP Films' financial backer, failed in his efforts to sell the program to a US network television. Now, back in those days, it was far more lucrative to sell a series to a American network television rather than just have it broadcast on different channels. The money was in actually selling the program to a network, and he failed to do that, so the plug was pulled on Thunderbirds. Now, the series was set in the 2060s, and Thunderbirds was a follow-up, really, to the early Super Marionation productions that the Andersons had done. They had done Four Feather Falls, Supercar, Fireball XL5, and Stingray. And the series concerned the exploits of International Rescue, which is a life-saving organisation with a secret base on an island in the Pacific Ocean. An International Rescue operates a fleet of technically advanced rescue vehicles, which are headed by their 5 craft, which are called the Thunderbird machines. Now, the main characters are the leader of International Rescue is ex-astronaut Jeff Tracy and his 5 adult sons, who pilot the Thunderbirds, and they are Scott, Virgil, Gordon, Alan, and John. Now, Thunderbirds premiered in September 1965 on the ITV network and has since aired in at least 66 countries. Besides all the tie-in merchandise, there was also 2 cinema movies that followed, feature films if you like. One was Thunderbirds I'll Go, and the other ones were Thunderbirds 6. Sadly, though, they didn't do very well at the box office at all. They didn't actually do what everyone expected them to do and have people queuing around the cinema to get in to see them. Sadly, there was not much take up at the box office, so it was considered to be a flop, both of the films. But they were cut in half and re-shown or repeated on the television repeats back through the 60s and 70s. So all the episodes were repeated through the late 60s, all through the 1970s, and with the last episode of Thunderbirds being transmitted on the ITV network in 1981. During the early 60s, during production in 1965 and 1967, AP Films released 19 Thunderbird audio plays on EP Records. Now, 3 of these were original stories. The rest were condensed TV episodes, retelling and narrated by the regular characters. In 1990, 8 of those plays were turned into radio dramas and transmitted on BBC Radio 5. Now, the radio series was a success and led the BBC to secure the rights to the TV episodes, which it broadcast nationwide on BBC Two from September 1991. After the first run, which averaged more than 6 million viewers per episode, the BBC repeated the series 6 times from 1992 to 1993, and which was series 1, 94 to 95, all of the remaining episodes. And in 2000 and 2001, they were in a remaster form. They were digitally remastered and aired again in 2003, 2005 and 2006. Each time the series was re-aired, it produced a great following, and more merchandise was produced for the to tie in with the TV series. So what we're looking at today is from the 2003 2004 series of Thunderbirds, where it was digitally remastered and reshown again on the BBC. And what we're looking at today is the vehicles that were spurned from that digital remastering. And this is the models we're looking at today, which is Thunderbird 1 and FAB 1. And these are the electronic ones that talk when you press the buttons. Okay, so this is the packet it comes in, and it says Gerry Andersons Thunderbirds. And along the sides of the packet, you can see you've got Scott Tracy standing here. I don't know, some rescue, I'd imagine. And there he is piloting Thunderbird 1, and there is Thunderbird 1 in action. And on the other side, you've got Lady Penelope. You've got her front of her FAB 1 car, and you've got Parker driving Lady Penelope, or chauffeuring in the next two images. It says, try me, 3 phrases, press the button. And in Thunderbirds 1 and FAB 1, ages 3 and above, and this is the 40th anniversary edition. So 2004 was pretty much the 40th anniversary year, which again, I think that's the reason why the episodes were remastered and reshown again, because it was the 40th anniversary year. Okay, so that's the front of the packet. Let's turn it around and have a look at what we got on the back. Okay, so I spun the card around, and this is what it says on the back. So it says Gerry Andersons Thunderbirds. It says Thunderbird 1 is the spearhead craft of international rescue, and it's piloted by Scott Tracy. Thunderbird 1 is always first to arrive at the danger zone so that Scott can assess the situation. Thunderbird 1's top speed is an incredible 15,000 miles per hour. FAB 1 is the striking pink Rolls Royce owned by Lady Penelope and driven by Parker, her butler. FAB 1 has 6 wheels and hides special agent tricks, from smoke bombs to machine gun booster jets, to help escape from any dangerous situation. It also shows you there the battery instructions to how to replace the LR41 batteries in both the Thunderbird 1 machine and in FAB 1. And it says, caution, this product contains button cell batteries which may be half with swallowed. But basic button cell batteries, LR41s are standard issue, small batteries. And it says, look out for the Soundtech vehicles, Thunderbird 3 and Thunderbird 5. Each features 3 phrases. Soundtech Thunderbird 3 and 5. Thunderbird 2 features 5 electronic sounds, and that's obviously Soundtech Thunderbird 2. And of course, you've got the new interactive Tracy Island playset. Features 18 electronic phrases and new sounds and elevating launch pad. So there we are. That was the other merchandise that was available for the 40th anniversary in 2004. Manufactured by Vivid Imaginations Limited, and their address is there in Essex. Not suitable for children under 36 months due to small parts. And please return the package for any future reference. Colours and specifications may vary from the product shown on the style packaging. And then you've got the copyright and licensing information, ITC Entertainment Group. Thunderbirds is Gerry Anderson production, and it's licensed by Granada Ventures. And you've got the relevant barcodes there. The N71 code, the CE markings, not suitable for children under 3. Customer helpline there, and www.thunderbirdsoonline.com. Okay, so that is the packet. Let's turn it back now, and let's have a look at the items themselves. Okay, so I'll turn the packet around. So let's zoom in on Thunderbird 1, and let's have a look at Thunderbird 1. There's Thunderbird 1 in all its glory. You can see the button here. Now, this packet is over 20 years old, so I really don't expect the batteries to be working. And no, they're not working. So these, yeah, both of the models will require new batteries to make them function. But let's have a look at Thunderbird 1. Now, as it happens, I do have a Thunderbird 1 model of my own, which is exactly the same as the one from the packet. And there it is. Again, on my one, the battery has run out, and I haven't actually changed the batteries. But I do have another one of these, which we'll look at a moment, which is kind of working. But let's get some sizes of this model. So the model is 11.5 centimeters from the bottom to the top of the nose cone. And if we open the wings out and measure across the wings, we're looking at 8 centimeters. If we measure across the bottom, we're about 4.5 centimeters either side. Yeah. Okay, now the model is not metal, it's all plastic. The only metal parts in it is the screws, and that's the screws that you need to remove to get into the battery compartment to change the batteries. Now you can see, again, my one is not functioning there, and that one isn't. I do have another one though, which has been through the wars a bit, and this one is still functioning. Thunderbird 1 to base. I didn't quite catch it. FAB Virgil. Thunderbird 1 to base. Yeah, so the batteries on this one are running out as well, but you know, you could hardly worry about that after 20 years. So you do have the Thunderbirds sign down the body, and you've got the number 1 at the bottom there, and you've got the TB1 signs on each of the bottom thrusters, on both sides, that is, as well. You've got TB1 on both sides again of the model, and the big number 1 sign at the bottom, and on the back there it's got copyright ITC Entertainment Made in China, and that is all the marking. Now the wings do function, they do open out. You just pull the wings, push them in and out. But as I say, this is all rubber, plastic, sorry, apart from the rubber nose cone at the top there. Okay, that is Thunderbird 1. Now, I don't actually have a Thunderbird, a FAB 1 to look at. So we're just going to have to look at the FAB 1 through the packet. And there she is. Now, there's no figures in the car. It's just literally the pink Rolls Royce. And I can't tell you what the sounds are, obviously, because it does require replacement batteries. But we can get the size. So the size again is about 10 centimeters in length, and we're looking at about 5 centimeters across, maybe just a tad smaller than that actually, 4 centimeters across, and the thickness of the height of the model is about 2.5 centimeters. So that gives you an idea of the size. You can see this, they're pretty much close size wise there. Functionality as well, you've got 3 rolling wheels on the FAB 1, and obviously the voices, but there's no other functionalities other than the 3 rolling wheels. Same with Thunderbird 1, it's only the opening and closing wings apart from the voices. But still a lovely set of models, and they went very well with the Tracy Island electronic play set, and they were just the right size to fit into the sections of the play set. So it was all sold basically so that they could all interact with each other. Okay, so how well did these do back in 2004? Well, yeah, I'd say they've done quite well. Each time Thunderbirds re-aired for different reasons, it attracted a new audience. So there's an original audience, which was us back in the 1960s when it first aired. And then throughout the 70s was still us, really. And then there was the early 80s where there was a new audience again. But when the BBC aired it again back in the 90s, a massive audience attraction again. And then again in the early 2000s when it was all remastered. So each time different generations and another massive following and another huge release on merchandise. So yeah, and each time the series got aired again with a big following, lots and lots of merchandise came out and sold very well, just like the previous lot. So, and this lot was no exception. Obviously these ones were a little bit different to the previous ones because they had the voices on them, and they were a real decent size as well, instead of the very smaller ones, which was the previous releases. So a bit bigger than the previous releases, and with those sound tech buttons that you press to hear the voices. Okay, let's move forward 21 years to 2025, which is where we are today. Do these come up for sale very often on the platforms? Well, yeah, I mean, occasionally you'll see these come up for sale on the platforms. There was a pack with Thunderbird 3 and Thunderbird 5. And also there was a pack with Thunderbird 2 as well. So, but you do tend to see, I think it's Thunderbird 2 that appears more regularly than any of the others. I did have a hunt around the platforms and look back through the last few years to see how many of these had come up, and you could count them on one hand really, how many of these have come up and been sold in this mint sealed condition. You can find, however, the loose models on the platforms if that's something that you would rather have than a complete new set. For me, in my collection, everything's got to be mint, so it's got to be new and sealed when I buy them, because that's how I like to have my displays, with mint condition models. And there are some collectors like that, same as me, think along the same lines as me. Others are not really too concerned of the condition as long as they display nicely. So you can pick up whatever you want on the platforms if you look hard enough and wait long enough. However, we have managed to find a few of these sets, which were all part of a shop buyout. Now, there was a shop that closed down just after COVID. They came back after COVID, been around since the 1960s, and sadly they decided to retire because they couldn't really make things work after COVID. It done too much damage to their business, and they called us in and said, would you like to buy out all the stock? Which we did do. And fortunately, there was a lot of stock on the shop floor, and there was also a lot of stock in the stock room. And amongst the stockroom items was a few of these sets of Thunderbird 1 and Thunderbird and FAB 1, and there was also a few of the Thunderbird 3 and Thunderbird 5 sets that hadn't sold back in 2000, and they had been put on the shelf in the back room for probably about 15 years when we went in and bought them, just over 15 years. And so we are making those sets available to our customers on the Midas Touch website, which you can get to very simply by clicking the link below. It'll take you straight to the website where you'll be able to find this and many other vintage Gerry Anderson items. And many other vintage toys, games and collectibles come to that. There's over 10,000 products currently available on the website for you to view and purchase at your leisure. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button, because we're uploading videos for every new item that goes into the website. There will be something for everybody. And I am absolutely positive that this is something that you're not going to want to miss, because we literally have thousands and thousands of new items which we're shooting videos for and uploading on a daily basis. So if there is something in particular you're looking for, something old that you'd never know how to find, something quirky you might want to buy for a friend, or perhaps just something from your childhood that you'd like to own again to help you recuperate those long lost childhood memories, well, stay tuned, keep watching, because you never know the next item we upload could be that item you've been looking for. Okay, that is it for me on this particular item. I do hope you've enjoyed reviewing this wonderful vintage Thunderbirds Thunderbird 1 and FAB 1 electronic Soundtech models set with me. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you again next video. So bye for now.